friends, this is Haradhan once again as usual. Welcome to Selenium interview question and answer part 6. Thank you all for watching my videos. In case you are enjoying my videos and learning automation testing in Java, please like and share my videos. Do not forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that you will get notification as and when I will upload any new videos. Please do not forget to provide your valuable comment for any input or suggestion. Stay tuned for my next video. In this video, I will discuss about 25 set of question and answer from Selenium which will be specifically from TestNG framework. What is TestNG? TestNG, where NG term stands for next generation, is a JUnit inspired testing framework providing several features like data-driven testing, parameterization support, different utility, annotation, and test case grouping that aid in creating robust and powerful testing projects. Using TestNG, user can generate a proper report. User can easily identify how many test cases are passed, failed, and skipped. In case user need to execute the failed test case separately, it is possible to execute. So JUnit is also a framework which is used by the developer, whereas TestNG is the framework which is specially known for the regression testing, functional testing, and smoke testing. Okay, this framework provides lots of feature inbuilt. Like using the framework, we can do the data-driven testings. And in the normal Selenium WebDriver, right, there is no feature to generate the report. But as when we are using the TestNG, we can generate our report, we can customize our report, we can identify how many test cases failed, pass, or skip from a particular set of test suite. In case we want to run a particular test case multiple times, we can also do it. In case suppose you already had a 20 test case set and 4 test cases failed, right? But 4 test cases is not failed because of the environment, because of the application, but it can be sometimes failed because of the kind of slowness of the application or maybe data driven issue. So we can identify the 4 set of tests and we can run it multiple times. So that is also possible, right? And different lot of annotations already available in the TestNG. Okay, we can group the test case, we can prioritize the test case, we can enable the test case whether it is required to execute or not. We can include some of the test case from the execution. We can do some parameterization testing because sometimes right, it is not whenever we are dealing with the framework, right? So it is not mandatory that we can use some hard coding thing, right? So instead of hard coding, we will do the parameterization, right? So from the data or CSV file or Excel, some data will be taken and it will be executed. So that at any point of time we can change our data. So based on the data change, it will take the correct data, right? So this is the syntax for TestNG. You can see that is the test, the annotations. We need to create a test methods and we need to give the some body in the method, right? So that's how you can, you can create the TestNG framework, right? And in the TestNG, there is no need to use the main method. So that is the one advantage of the TestNG. Okay. What are the important features available in the TestNG? A lot of important features is available. That is the reason we are preparing the TestNG, right? And sometimes in case some of the thing is not available in Selenium WebDriver, but those things can be handled in the TestNG. The different types of assertion fasting. TestNG has an assert class already inbuilt that provides multiple methods supporting different type of assertion like checking equality of expected and actual result. Okay, asserting a condition as true or false, asserting the value is null. In case like it is not matching with the expected or actual or the true condition, so you can print the the message or error message. So that's the thing already inbuilt in the or assertion class already available in the TestNG framework. Run test in parallel. So this is the one of the most important feature in the TestNG. Suppose in case you want to run the test case in the different browser, different OS combination, right? Normal Selenium WebDriver you can't do it. So obviously you have to use the TestNG. So using this TestNG.xml file, we can run test case in parallel, thus reducing the overall test execution time. The parallel execution can be done in multiple levels. It can be method level, class level, or suite level. Suppose we want to run only the methods only, so you can do it, right? In case we want to run the classes in different browser or ways, right? We can do it. Or also in case we want to run all the test cases in a suite in different browser ways, so you can also do it. So that is one of the important aspects in the TestNG. Make test dependent on one another. Okay, so it depends on methods and depends on group. Those are the two methods already available in the TestNG. So using this attribute and the test at the rate test annotation, we can make the test dependent on any other test. Dependence means, suppose if you want to perform some operation on a URL, right? But first thing is that you need to launch the browser and you need to log into the particular application. Otherwise, how you can do, right? Suppose you want to book a ticket, right? First, until you are logging into the IRCTC, how can you book a train like that? So whenever you are want to booking, so it will depend on the login function, right? So in case if you want to depend on group or methods, you can do it, right? So as and when you are running your booking part, right? So it will depend on the login part. So once the login is successful, then the rest of the code will be executed, right? The prioritizing test, right? Suppose if you want to prioritize multiple tests, right? So you can do it using the prioritization test. In TestNG, user can assign a numerical priority value to the test with 0 being the default value, right? Suppose there are a lot of a method is already written, right? But if you want to prioritize, suppose some of the methods, if it is not being executed, other method cannot be executed, right? So you can make the priority here. Lower priority will be executed first. In case you are not giving the priority, so it will be taking the default priority 0. Okay. So after that 1, 2, 3, 4 like that it will be executed. Grouping of test case. TestNG support logical grouping of test case, thus providing ability to run the test group in parallel, performing certain operation before or after the execution of the test belong to group. Why we need to group the test case, right? Suppose same set of test case need to run multiple time, right? Okay, so that you can group it, right? So that like in case we are providing the group, obviously all these test cases will be run. Data driven testing, right? I already told you, right? In case during the any kind of framework, we should not go with the hard coded value, right? We need to provide some data through CSV, through Excels, right? Or through Notepad like that, right? So using the @data provider, user can create data driven test in which the test data is passed to the test method through its data provider. Then another aspect is reporting, another most important feature in the test engine. Okay, because normal Selenium driver does not have any report, right? We can't easily see how many test cases pass, fail, skip like that. Okay, but in the test engine, after a test execution, an HTML report used to get generated, providing tabular reporting of test result. The report format is also configurable by implementing TestNG listener class. The one is the most important listener class available. So using which, right, we can customize our reporting, right? We can show the test case pass result, failed result, and in case suppose of the we want to take the screenshot of the failed result, we can also do it, right? Another thing is the parameterization, right? Okay, why the parameter is required? Suppose if you want to create some data, right, multiple time with different time of combination, so you can parameterize it, right? So for suppose if you want to create an student details, right? So student name, address, right? Roll number will be there, and another row if you want to do it other students, so other row will be there. So that will be parameterization, called as parameterization. So TestNG provides inherent support for parameters that using its parameters annotation. The value of the parameters defined using parameter annotation is passed to the test logic from the testng.xml files. Okay. What are the syntax for different features of TestNG? Right. First is description. We can provide at test annotation, right? Okay. The description attribute used to provide a description to the test method. It generally contains one liner. We can give some description so that it easily identify what is the important of that particular method, right? Data provider. Okay. This attribute help in creating a data driven test. It used to specify the name of the data provider for the test, right? So test, that will be annotation, and data provider equal to the you need to give it in the double quote, right? Priority. This attribute help in prioritizing the test methods. The default priority will be start from 0 and it will be in ascending order 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. So here you can give the priority. But you need to remember it is case sensitive, right? So the capital priority will not work. You need to give the exact priority, all the small lowercase one, right? Enable. This attribute is used to specify whether the given test method will run with the suit or not, right? Or class or not. In case if you don't want to run it, so obviously you will check, you will map it, enabled equal to false. In case if you want to run it, so enabled will be true. In case you are enabled equal to false, so that particular method will not run, right? In the suit or class. Then that group is used to specify the groups the test method belong to, that, right? You can create multiple group here. You can assign multiple group in any test method so that all group will be executed. Okay, one by one. Depends on method, used to specify the method on which test method depends. The test method only run after successful execution of the depend method. Okay, so I already given this example, like, so whenever you want to book a ticket in the IRCTC site, right, so you have to log into the application and you need to give the credential to log in. Once the successful login is done, so you can go to the booking of the train, right. So you can give the depends on method. Once the depends on method is passed, then you will go for the, once the login is successful, then you will go for the booking part. Depends on group, used to specify the group on which test methods depend. Similarly, kind of depends on method, you can, it can be suppose depend on group, subgroup of test case, it will depend, right. Suppose if you want to validate the PNR, right, obviously first you need to log into the applications, then you need to book, right, book the ticket. After that you can check the status of the PNR. So it will, it in case in the group itself, like the login and the booking is already there, so it will, we can say the depend on group instead of depend on method, right. Always run, one is the basic syntax is used. So when set as true, the test method runs even if the dependent method fails. So that is the one important property, at the rate annotation test always run equal to 2. So in case you are making it true, so in case the dependent method also fails, so it will go to run to other steps. Okay, timeout, this is also one important attribute in the TestNG. Okay, features, you can say this is used to specify timeout value for the test in milliseconds, right. If the test takes more than the timeout value specified, the test terminated and is marked as failure. So here you can give the timeout in the millisecond, that means in 3000 milliseconds 3 seconds, so it will wait for 3003 seconds. Okay, after that it will run. What are the basic annotation available in the TestNG? Right, you can see at the rate before, at the rate before suite, at the rate before suite, at the rate after suite, before class, after class, before test, after test, before groups, after group, and before method, after method. These are the most useful annotations. So at the rate test annotation marks a test as a test method, so it will run. Okay. At the rate before suite, the annotation method will run only before all tests in the suite have run. Suppose in case you have, right, in the suite you have 5 test case at the test, right. So in the before test and after test will run all the in the suite level. Okay, similarly after suite method will run only once after all the tests in the suite have run. Okay, so in case if you have 5 test case, so before suite will run before the 5 test case, after the 5 test case will run, and then after suite will run. And before class, at the rate before class, annotation method will run only once before the first test method in the current class is invoked. So whenever we are before class we are entering or you are adding, so in a particular, right, class there can be, right, in a particular packages there can be multiple class, but in case class is run, so before class will run, similarly after a class. Okay, before test, the annotation method will run before any test method belonging to that class inside the tag run, right, test is run. Similarly after test will run after the method belonging to the class inside the test is run. So suppose you have used test annotation 5 times, right, so before test will run 5 times before each of the test, and after test also will run 5 times. Before groups and after groups, before groups, the list of group that is configured method will run before. This method is guaranteed to run shortly before the first test method that belong to any of this group invoke. Similarly after group, the list of group that is configured method will run after. This method is guaranteed to run shortly after at least method that belongs to the group is invoked, right. In a group you can add multiple, you can test, right, or class or like that. So whenever we are grouping it, right, you are running the any group, so before group and after group it will run before the group, you add it, right. Similarly before method after method annotation is, before method the annotated method will be run before each of the test method, and after method also will run. Suppose in a particular test suite, right, there are multiple methods. Okay, if you use before method and after method, so it will run after each and every method run. Okay, what are the some common assertion provided by TestNG? Right, you can see assert equals, right. You need to give string actual and string expected. In case it is not matching, you can need to give the string message or error, right. It will print it, right. Similarly, assert not equal, you can give data 1, data 2, and if it is not matching, right, it will give you the string message. Okay, assert false, so you need to give the boolean condition. If it is false, so it will pass, otherwise it will give string message. Assert true, so you need to give the boolean condition. If case the condition is matching to true, so it will pass, otherwise it will provide the message. Assert not null, you need to give the object difference. If in case object is not null, so obviously it will pass, right. and fail. Suppose if it is failing, and so it will match, no error message will be there. In case it is passed, so it will be throwing the error message. Similarly, is true. In case it is true, boolean condition is true, so it will be true, passed, right? Assertion will pass, otherwise it will give the message. What is the default priority of the test case in the TestNG? So in case you are not giving any priority, so it will be default by 0, right? So if you give the priority 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, and for some of the test, if you are not priority giving any priority, so it will be defaulted at 0, and your default, 0 will be run fast. After that, it will be 1, 2, 1, 3, right? So the default priority of a test when not specified is the integer value 0. So in case, okay, one test case with priority 1 and one is without priority, then the test without the priority value will be get execution fast because it is the default priority. Okay, and 0 is the lower priority, so it will be go to the ascending order. What is the difference between the soft assertion and hard assertion? So soft assertion or soft assert allow user to have multiple assertion within a test method. Even when the assertion fails, the test method continues with the remaining test execution. The result of all assertion can be collated at the end of using soft assert dot assertall method. So whenever we are entering any soft assertion, so in case some of the step is failed, right, some of the method is failed, but still it will not hard stop you, right? So remaining method or test case will be executed. So that is the importance of soft assertion. Whereas hard assertion on the other hand are the usual assertion provided by the TestNG. In case of hard assertion, in case of any failure, the test execution will stop. So it will hard stop the test execution, preventing the execution of any further step within the test method, right? So in case we are using the hard assertion, and in case any of the test method or class or test is failed, so it will not execute the test case. So it will be hard stop. So this is the syntax for soft assertion. You can see at the test you need to use it. You need to create any class, right? And where you need to use the soft assert class, right? You need to create an object in using the soft assert particular class. Then soft assert dot fail, right? In case it is failing, you need to give in the output. And in case if you want to check with the equals, right? So it will give you the output also. And also using the soft assert dot assert class, okay? You can, right, collate all the assertion thing. Okay, so that is the importance of soft assertion and hard assertion in the test engine. How user can skip a test case conditionally, right? In case you have multiple test cases, but if you want to skip a particular test case, you can do it. Okay, so user can conditionally skip a test case using skip exceptions. Okay, on throwing the skip exception, the test method is marked as skipped in the test execution report, and any statement after throwing the exception will not get executed. So at the test is annotation, and after that you need to create a method. If the condition to check for skipping test throws new skip exceptions, then it will stop there, right? Skipping the test case, it will provide the output, and after that it will stop it. It will not be executed further. How user can pass the parameter to any test script using the TestNG? Okay, user can pass parameter to any test script using the parameter annotation and parameter tag in the TestNG XML. So that is the syntax of TestNG. Okay, first you need to give the suite name, then the test name. You can give any test name, then the parameter name, right? Sample parameter name and the value you need to give it, right? Then you need to give under the classes tag, you need to give the class name, and then you need to end with classes tag, and you need to end with test tag, and you need to end with suite tag. So that is the basic syntax whenever you are creating any XML files, right? And if you want to provide parameters, so you need to use the another row parameters where you need to pass the parameters value and name, right? So in case this is the sample examples test case, right? This is the test case name, and this is the method name at the rate test, and after under the method I am providing the parameters, right, using the parameters annotation. Okay, and you can create a method, right, where we will be providing the parameter value. Okay, so that's how you can, right, pass the parameter to any test script using the TestNG, and also we can make the important changes in the TestNG XML files. What is the use of @listener annotation in the TestNG? So TestNG provide user different kind of listener using which user can perform some actions in case an event has triggered. Usually, TestNG listener are used for configuring report and login, right? Suppose if you want to customize the report, right? And if you want to log any defect, right? So you can do it using the TestNG listener class. Okay. One of the most widely used listener in the TestNG is IT listener interface. It has method like test success, on test failure, sorry, on test success, on test failure, on test skip, etc. User need to implement this interface, creating a listener class of their own. Okay. After that, using at the rate listener annotation, user can use specify that for a particular test class. Okay, and they can customize listener class that should be used. Okay, so that is the syntax at the listener. Then you need to give it the package name dot customize listener class name dot class, and you need to create a class name here, right? Public class name WebDriver WebDriver, and you need to use a as the test annotation for any creating any test method like that. So that's why listener class work in the TestNG. What is the difference between at the rate factory and at the rate data provider annotation? So at the rate factory method create instances of the test class and run all the test method in that class with a different set of data. Okay, so whenever we are using at the rate factory, so it will run all the different test method within the class with different set of data. But at the rate data provider is bound to individual test method and run specific method multiple times. So whenever we are dealing with the at the rate data provider, only it will for only for specific methods, right, within the class. Whereas at the rate factory is the for all the methods within the class, and it will deal with different data set. Whereas using the data provider, we can run we run single method with different multiple times, different combination. How user can run test case in parallel using TestNG? So we need to use the two important thing. One is the parallels. Then you need to provide either method, test or class, and you need to use the thread count, right? So in order to run the test in parallel, user need to just add these two value pair combination in the test suite. One is the parallel, where we will either pass methods or test or classes, and the thread count. Number of thread user you want to run simultaneously. So first you need to give the suite name in the TestNG XML files. Okay, you need to provide a suite name, then you use the parallel syntax. Okay, so there will be no comma, only space. Okay, you need to give either methods or test or class, and you give the thread count. So if you want to run parallel 3 times, 4 times, so you need to provide the exact count here. If you want to 5 times, so you need to give 5 here. How user can disable or prevent a test case from running? So by setting the enable attributes as false, user can disable test method from running. Okay, in case you are providing as true, so it will run obviously, but under the test annotation, if you enable equal to false, so that will not run for the particular execution. And under the test annotation, you can create a method, so you can provide some logic there. How user can make one test method depend on other using TestNG? So using depends on method parameter inside at the rate annotation in TestNG, user can make one test method run only after the successful execution of the depend test method. Okay, so you need to first create the at the rate test annotation for the any test case, and you need to give within the bracket test on depends on method, and you need to give the method. So whenever you are giving the depends on method, so until this method is run successful, your test case will not be run. It will be stopped and will fail. How user can fail a TestNG test if it does not get executed within a specified time? So user need to use the timeout attribute. Timeout, O is the caps, and at the rate test annotation, right? The value assigned to this timeout attribute will act as an upper bound. If test does not get executed within this time frame, then it will fail with the timeout exception. So you need to use the at the rate test annotation, and under which you need to give the timeout equal to 2000 milliseconds, about till 2 seconds. You need to give it, right? Then you need to create a methods where you need to use the throw word, and you can give the interrupted exception, right? Where you need to use the thread.sleep, so it will wait for 2 seconds, and after that it will wait. I will give you the proper output, right? So that in that way you can fail a particular test case in case it is not getting executed within the specified timeout given in the TestNG framework. What package need to be imported to use annotations and assert class in the TestNG? So annotations are all the annotation, right? At the rate test, at the rate before test, before class, after test, after class, after suite, before suite, available in the package org.testng.annotation.start. So you need to import that particular package to use all the annotation in the TestNG. Similarly, if you want to use all the assertions, so you need to use the assert class. So the assert class is used to conduct verification operation in the TestNG. To use it, user need to import org.testng.assert package. Okay. Why TestNG is useful in the Selenium? Okay, a lot of aspects is there. I have jotted down everything. Okay, the most important features, why it is useful. The TestNG framework can be easily integrated with the tools like the Marvel Jenkins. That this is the build validation tool. We can easily integrate with the TestNG framework, right? We can generate report in a proper format, including number of test cases run, number of test cases passed, failed, and the number of test cases skipped. So we can create our customized report as well, right? Using the listener class. Multiple test cases can be grouped more easily by converting them into the testng.xml file, in which user can make priority which of the test case will be executed first. So grouping is also possible, and also we can make the priority, right, so that whatever test case we want to execute first and whatever execute we want to execute last. The same test case can be executed multiple times without loop, just by using the keyword invocation count. So whenever we are working with the TestNG, so multiple loops can be avoided, right? So if you want to run it multiple times, okay, we need to use the invocation count particular keyword. Okay, so you can run in multiple times. Using TestNG, user can execute multiple test cases on multiple browser, either cross-browser testing, right? That is called the parallel testing. So that is the one important features, or usefulness is there in the TestNG. Then annotation used in the testing are very useful to understand. At the rate test, at the rate before method, before class, after class, like that. It is very easily to understand, right? By the name itself, you can easily identify, right? After test means like it will run after unit test. Before test means it will run before all the tests. Similarly, annotation is very simple in the test engine. TestNG simplifies the way the tests are coded. There is no more need for a static main method in our test. That is the one of the importance. Whenever we are running any test, you see all in the Java or in the Selenium WebDriver, right? So you need to use the main method, right? Static void, public void, static main, right? Kind of stuff. But whenever we are dealing with the testing, you no need to use it. So only you need to use the @test annotation. Okay. The sequence of action is regulated by easy to understand annotation that do not require method to be static or main method. Uncaught exceptions are automatically handled by TestNG without terminating the test prematurely. The exceptions are reported as fail step in the report. So that is the one of the more important advantage in the TestNG framework. Any kind of exceptions which is not caught during the runtime, sorry, the compile time, so that also can be also handled in the TestNG without terminating the test prematurely. What are the major advantage of TestNG over JUnit? So I already told JUnit is the developer, right? For the also framework we use practically use for the development for unit testing, whereas TestNG is the framework for the testers, like it can be used for sanity, smoke, for functional parallel, all this kind of stuff, right? Right. So annotation are easier to understand for the TestNG, where it is not easier in the JUnit. Test can be grouped more easily in the TestNG, and one of the important feature is parallel testing is possible, whereas it is not possible in the JUnit. How to use two or more parameters in a single annotation in TestNG? Sometimes you need to use the different multiple parameter, right? Suppose if you want to give the priority, or if you want to check always run or maybe enablement status, so user need to separate them with a comma in case two or more parameter need to be passed in a single annotation. So at the annotation test, and you need to give the first bracket, and you need to give all the annotation one by one by comma, using the comma. So you can use multiple annotation. So in case all the annotation is passed only, then it will run, right? How to exclude or include a test using the XML in the TestNG? User can include or exclude multiple test case once at a time, and it works with the group as well. Okay, so that is the syntax. You need to use the exclude, right? Then the name and test case name you need to give it, and you need to close the tag, right? Similarly for include, if you want to include it, okay, include name of the test case or group name you need to provide it. That's why you can include or exclude a particular test case during run time. How to run any test engine script. So right in the Eclipse, you already write a lot of code using the test engine, so you need to right click on that, and once test engine is there in your particular project, right, so you will find a option called test engine test. So if you run it, so it will be successful, or you can directly click on the run button from the toolbar in the Eclipse. So that is the two way you can run in the test engine, right, any script where the multiple test cases there. What is invocation count in TestNG? In case user need to execute a test case multiple times, right? Then we need to use the invocation count attribute, right? So here you can see first you need to give the annotation test, and then you need to give the invocation count, and you need to create a method, right? Okay. So in case you are giving the inversion count, so that will be run multiple times. So it is 4, so it will run 4. It is 8, it will run 8. So in the above example, right, test methods will get executed 8 times because that count is provided 8. Okay. It is required to create a test ng.xml file. Okay, in case user need to test a project using Selenium WebDriver, it has a lot of class on it, right? It can be lot of class, lot of packages, right? Lot of method is there. So user cannot choose these classes one by one and put them for the automation, right? Hence user need to create a suite so that all the classes run in a single test suite. Okay, and that can be achieved by creating a testng.xml file. That is the reason we need to create the testng XML files. How user can create an XML file in TestNG? So there is some option is there. Okay, first we need to navigate to the src folder. Under src folder, right, we used to create the right classes. So under the src folder, you need to click. Navigate it. Then we need to click on the files, and you need to enter the name of the file. Okay, it will be testng.xml. Then you need to click on the finish. Okay, so after finishing it, so it will be you will get some blank .xml file, right, where you need to mention the project name and the classes to be executed along with the packages name as shown below, right. First you need to give the suite name, you need to give the test name and classes, right. So classes will be packages name dot class name, packages name dot class name, packages name dot class name. In case multiple packages there, so package 1 dot class 1, package 2 dot class 2, package 3 dot class 3, like that. And you need to close the classes tag, then test tag and suite tag. Okay, to run this file, user have to go to the testng.xml, okay, in the package explorer, and you need to click run as testng suite. So that's why you can run it using the testng XML files. What are the different way in which TestNG can be invoked, right? There are a lot of ways there. Using in Eclipse, you can invoke the TestNG. Using the ANT, you can invoke it. Okay, using the command prompt, right? Suppose if you go to the Windows, if you run command prompt, also you can run it. And using the IntelliJ IDEA. So these are the important way you can run your TestNG, right, XML file, or the whatever classes or whatever method you have run in any project or class. Okay, so that's the 25 question specifically from TestNG. Thank you.